everybody, it's your favorite gentleman, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And today you all are in for a treat. Today we have a very, very special guest coming from the UK, speaking and talking my favorite topic, business. This man is absolutely incredible, and he's here to tell us how to do better business and share some of the top business secrets that this man has been doing for over 50 plus years. His knowledge and expertise is beyond measure. So you won't want to miss 1 second of this dynamic speaker of this episode. Stay with us. Stay tuned. Here we go. Hey everybody, it's your favorite gentleman, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And today we have Mr. Ian Dickson. This man has coached and mentored over 100 businesses throughout the UK. In the last 15 years, he has delivered over 450 professional business seminars and international motivational speaking courses all over in San Diego, London, Auckland, New Zealand, Uganda, Malawi, and New York and Los Angeles. As a former operations director of 2 large national businesses, he is now very proudly running his own business, helping the business community using his own personal style, passion, and business expertise. Please, with a round of applause, help me welcome to the stage the incredible Mr. Ian Dickson.
Oh my God, I'm going to steal that intro away. So that was amazing. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Steal away. Thank you, sir, for joining us on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. Sir, your resume is extensive, sir. Thank you for joining us today. You are a powerhouse speaker.
Well, when you get to 60, if you're struggling with a resume, when you get to 60, then you've got to ask yourself some questions, I guess. So, yeah, certainly one of the best intros I've had for a very long time. So I do appreciate that. That's very kind of you. So looking forward to sharing, and you know how amazing the world is now that we are able to do these things. And we were talking off air just how there are so many benefits to some of the challenges we've had over the last 18 months. Because I almost guarantee you and I wouldn't be talking right now if we hadn't had the pandemic. So, you know, there you go.
That's so true. The pandemic has changed everything for a lot of us. And thank you. This platform, even everything you see here, grew out of the pandemic. It changed the way we do business and the way we connect. And so in your professional experience, I always like to start off with this. Successful people have successful habits. What's something that you teach to or coach to, or you do yourself personally, that has led to your success? It could be yoga. It's a morning routine. Yoga, prayer, meditation, exercise. What's something that you do that you recommend to most of your clients, if not all of them, to develop a morning routine around?
So a really important thing is to be whether it, as a parent, as a business owner, even somebody employed, is to be consistent in what you do. So we are creatures of habit anyway. And, you know, one of the things that I encourage all my clients to do is to identify a personal beneficial change to them, 3 or 4 of those a year. So to give it some scale or perspective, because we tend to try and do too much too quick and then we just shut it all down. So just 3 or 4 life-changing habits, whether that means getting up earlier, exercising, a change of diet, becoming a better, more knowledgeable person through reading books or podcasts like yours, for example. So but yeah, I think the short answer to the question is to recognize 3 or 4 positive changes year in, year out. Never wish that your life was easier, wish that you were better.
Ooh. That's powerful. So I think I have 2. I have working out. I have prayer and meditation. So I need 1 more. So I'm gonna work on that. Thank you for that hot tip. That I need to get on that. So, sir, you could do anything. You've done dare I say, everything and anything. Who set the path for you? Who's a mentor or someone that you admire who really set the tone for where you led today, or someone that inspired you to be the great man that you are today?
So in my industry, so in the training, speaking, coaching kind of industry, certainly in the UK, there aren't many people that I look up to, in all honesty. It's an unregulated industry. There's a lot of charlatans and what I call pan sellers. I don't know if you're familiar with the term pan selling. We'll come back to that maybe. But there is a guy in the US who really did set me off, and he was just at the start of his career when I started off on this journey, and that's Brendan Burchard. Do you know Brendan Burchard?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of Brendan's. I like his style. I like his content. I think he's on point. I think he's authentic, and all those things are often unusual to find even some of the big players, I feel, have gone over to the dark side, and it's all about the dollar. And I just think that this is such a wonderful opportunity to have in this industry, to be a trainer, a teacher, or a coach, or a mentor, and to give back. And actually, that should where the authenticity should be, not in how much is it going to generate for me. So, and Brendan, I think, is still one of those authentic human beings.
Shout out to Thank you, Mr. Brendan. Without him, we would not have Mr. Ian today. We have one quick commercial break. You guys stay tuned, stay with us, stay engaged. We'll be right back. Good day, podcast listeners. This is your boy, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. I wanted to let you guys know that we will be rolling out a new feature and adding a join sponsor button next to the subscriber button here at the bottom of your screen. Once you click the button, it will display 3 membership levels: Gentleman Gentry, which is our entry level; Duke Duchess, which is our season level; and the Emperor and Empress, which is our most sophisticated level, which you will receive unique perks and benefits at each differing level and gain access to our community tab. We will also be sharing polls, upcoming events, and interviews, as well as receive feedback from our sponsors directly. Your support helps me find new and exciting guests to bring to the stage live. Well, in order to get the higher end speakers, it requires, you guessed it, money. So thank you for tuning in to my channel. And if becoming a sponsor sounds good to you, then select the join button below and choose your desired sponsor level. Let's continue to grow and serve the future of generations of men and women to come. Love you guys. Bye. Hey y'all, we are back. We have the incredible Mr. Ian Dickson, and he just broke down some of the mentors and successful people that have been in his life and have inspired him even today. And if you missed that, scroll back, tune back, and go back to that beginning. But it was dynamic. And so, Mr. Ian, help us. You talked about your journey. You touched on it. You've had an extensive career. Some people may or may not know, even as a London police officer. So how did your journey begin into becoming a business performance coach and speaker? Because that's 2 different worlds apart.
Yeah. How long have we got, Marcus? So just very briefly. So as I say, I'm in my 60th year. So
you look good.
So I left school and joined the police force. So right back 1979, I was a policeman in London, and I only did that. I was only in that career for 7 years, but long enough to have seen so much and learned so much about life. And one of the most profound perspective givers that still sits with me today. And then I just went off on the journey to become a corporate guy. I wanted to, it was always a life goal of mine to be a big corporate cheese. And when I became that big corporate executive, it made me realize just how much I was on the wrong path and on the wrong journey. So it made me unwell. I really didn't enjoy the work. And then in 2004, I got made redundant, and it was the worst and the best day of my life. So and so much so that I will stand on stages now around the world and I'll say I have not worked a day since 2004. So that's how much I love the job that I have now. So did all sorts of things in between, but they were really prerequisites to really empower and enable me to be able to be the man I am today. So yeah, so it kind of, there's a very disparate path between being a police officer in London and being the man that you see today. Very different guy back then. So really interesting time. But as I say, those 7 years as a young, impressionable young man taught me a lot about life, to see some of the things that I saw in London, for sure. So
love it. You've grown, right? And that's what it's about. It's about the growth, and who knows? You probably didn't know back then that you were going to be where you are today. And you tell me, Marcus, you're going to be doing podcasts with gentlemen and business coaches and high performance coaches in UK. I wouldn't have believed you. I wouldn't have believed myself. But thank you. It's growth. I think is key here.
Yeah, it's certainly for me, I didn't really proactively restart my education until I was made redundant in 2004. I think we get to learn that daily anyway with things that are presented to us. There's always a learning in there somewhere. But then when I took on or made the decision to want to give back to the business community, everything that I'd learned, much of which of what not to do as much as what to do, I knew that I'd have to go down this personal development route. And I wished I'd started it earlier, to be honest with you, not at 44. I wished I'd started it much earlier. But it's never too late, So every week I set aside time to learn something new. So it's, we live in a world in the communication age where all you got to do is pick up your phone and you're sat in front of a library. So it's, or YouTube and a podcast like yourself. So.
Makes sense. And so the diversity in you is truly incredible. Can you tell us, because you coach to this, you speak to this, and you teach this throughout and taught to this throughout the world. What makes a good business speaker?
So I was interviewed on a television show, and they pitched me in as a motivational speaker. And what makes a great motivational speaker? So essentially the same question. And I said, well, I don't really see myself as a motivational speaker. I'm just a speaker that's motivated. So then in return from the stage, if I put that motivation out and you become, because it's conducive to to exciting and motivating others, then that's a bonus. People often ask me, how did your talk go? And I say, well, I had a great time. So you'd need to ask them whether or not they enjoyed themselves. So I think I'm not sure whether I've answered the question, but actually the secret for me is that if you are passionate, committed, interested, and motivated to share your content, if your integrity is buried deep within you, you just want to share that content. I'm going to share with you today two of the most powerful words that were ever taught to me as a teenager that have driven me right the way through my life. Now, I want to share those two words with as many people as I can on the planet. So getting on stage and having the privilege and being humbled enough to be able to share those two words, of course, I'm going to be motivated to do that. So I think that's where the secret lies. I think the convolute, again, coming back to the dollar, those people that are on stages to earn their money, I think I think we're good at seeing through that now. So
it's the wrong heart. It's the wrong heart behind it. The people who are just on stage for $1 and not truly interested in giving back, and that's what has led to your success, right? That's where it is. It's the heart, like you said, that moral code, that moral compass of why you're doing what you're doing. And because people have been able to take time and sit behind and really observe people, we're able to screen that a lot better. What you just said was profound, and that can be taken in all aspects of business, right? In making a great leader. What makes a great leader in business?
Well, gosh. So this is part of the training that I do around the world. To be honest with you, is key traits that I see in successful business owners, because every business owner by default puts themselves in positions of leadership anyway. So, I think integrity, being great at decision making, honesty, openness, being a great communicator. It's books and books and books written on what makes a great leader. I think so much about leadership is nothing to do with a skill set. It's a soft skill. It's as much who you are, not what it is that you're doing. So, in its trueness, actually, there is no such thing as a bad leader, because if you're not leading successfully, no one's following, right? So there is no such thing really as a bad leader, because these guys aren't following you if you're doing a bad job. So that's the long and short of it. And sadly, in business, so many people get promoted into positions of authority and leadership through longevity, not through their skill set. And then the leaders above them complain about the poor quality of leadership they're delivering, and don't train them or understand whether or not they should actually be in another seat on the bus. They've put them into that seat, and then they underperform. They'd have been better off back where they were employed in the first place. So, yeah, it's a big topic, Marcus. We could sit here, honestly, it's like all day. So it's a big topic. So, and modern world and the modern world of business nowadays, I think soft skills, going back to the base soft skill set, is where a lot of the magic will come. So executive presence, having this sense of, I want to follow that guy. So that's nothing to do with a skill, really.
I love that. Love that. Staying on the topic of business, what advice would you get? Because it's not for the weak, right? Business is not as glamorous as, Grant Cardone or the people who've made it seem, right? The most powerful, impactful thing I've ever heard to me was someone who said that, it took me 10 years to be an overnight success, right? So what advice would you give to that someone who's on the fence or considering starting a business and getting into business?
I think lots of studies been done on this. So anybody that understands how far they need to travel to get there, if they set off knowing how far that distance is, they're far more likely to get there. So if you have an appreciation of the fact that you have to put the yards in before you set off, then that's the first thing that people need to understand. Less than 1% of the world's population are crazy enough to start a business. So recognize that you put yourself into a unique set of individuals that set off on that path. I think for those that make it, that they'll realize it is just that freedom of being able to be your own boss is a wonderful thing. Don't ever try and do a job for the money. Do a job because it's something that you are truly passionate about and that you love to do, because I promise you, your drive, energy, and commitment will run out long before you get to the money if you aren't truly passionate about what it is that you're running a business in. So the other thing is, there's a really old adage, you've probably seen this image, Marcus, where there's a guy with a pick down a hole and the diamonds are just round the corner. And they're saying, keep going, keep going, keep going. I truly think now we live in a world where if you don't enjoy the hole you're in, get out and dig another one. I'm not saying to you, go do something else. I'm just saying, just get out of that hole and try something else. It could be a different industry. It could be, a different path. But if you're not happy where you are, go do something, try something else. So don't just keep digging. So we have lots of choices now. So much of stuff that we can do for nothing. So we can try things, and if it doesn't work, we'll try something else. So yeah, passion is the thing. You have to love what you do. So because our drive and energy and commitment will run out long before we get to the money otherwise. So, and here's the thing, even if you don't get there, if you've enjoyed the process of trying, nobody's really losing, right? So
right. That's true. And so you coach to this, you teach it, you say, I think, and that's a great point, because a lot of businesses, they always say the statistics, right? Businesses fail within the first 5 years. And I think, and I agree with you, I think what you're saying is, if it's not working, it's okay to stop early versus prolonging the pain, because it's not going to get better over time. Is that, can I make that fair?
Exactly right. So I think when I started this 15 years ago, I would have said to you, don't listen to anybody. You just keep going, because it will come. So, but I think the world has changed. And I think nowadays we have lots of different opportunities available to us, and things change as well. So the hole I'm digging right now may not be relevant anymore. So the most important thing is, if I'm not enjoying what I'm doing to get there, that's when the alarm bells are going off. So that's when you have to stop and think, what actually am I trying to achieve here? So the most important thing is to enjoy the process of trying to get there, not chasing to get there and like slaving away and not enjoying the process. Because like I say, even if you don't fully arrive at the destination, if you've enjoyed the journey, nobody really loses. So
we have one more quick commercial break, y'all. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Are you a local business looking to offer your customers easy access to cash without having to travel miles? We're here to help. At Norman Legacy Investments, we provide free ATMs with free installation that provide a suitable investment for your business. Even better, we offer you some profit sharing and handle everything from start to finish. Just reach out to us today to schedule a free consultation.
Welcome back, y'all. We have the incredible Mr. Ian Dickson. And this man is here on the Gentleman Style platform today. He's spilling some incredible business secrets that is helping us take our business to the next level, or what we just learned, if it's not doing well, leave early and do something you truly love and get back to the passion. Because what he said, the most powerful thing he said just now to me, this spoke to me, is passion, drive, and motivation will run out long before you do. So walk away early. Powerful, sir. Thank you for breaking that tea. What's the biggest learning curve? What's been your biggest learning curve throughout your extensive career?
I've a few things that keep me going, that I guess have manifest and become part of that learning. So as a teenager, my mother, who's now passed, said to me, just because you can't finish something, that's not a reason not to start it. And I don't think, certainly some of the things that I'm trying to achieve, I don't think I'll ever finish, but I'm thoroughly enjoying doing them, even if I know that I can't finish what it is that I'm, whether it be a message or some kind of difference to be able to make to society and to business. And then I want to share these two words with you, that every single week these two words become relevant and continue to teach me new things. Is that, and I'll share the two words, which is you choose. So, and those two words profoundly changed my life once I fully understood and appreciated how much it means to me with my daily work. Is that nobody will ever put you in a good mood, nobody will ever put you in a bad mood, nobody will upset you, and nobody will make you laugh, cry, be sad, or whatever it might be. These are choices that you make. And so when I get up every single morning and I know how hard I need to work, like I say, I haven't worked a day in 16 years, but my partner will tell you that I work really hard, but I love what I do. But that's a choice. I choose that. So I get up every single day. I call them happy numbers, on an 8, a 9, or a 10 every single morning. And that's a choice. That is an absolute choice that I make. And I want to close out my day on an 8, 9, or 10. And so, we'll always be tested. There'll always be things that come at us that will try and break that down. And they're often the tests that help us understand how much we really truly want something. So you choose. And just because I can't finish something, that's not a reason. It could be anything. It doesn't matter. Just you can't finish it. That's not a reason. Not on the contrary, it's a legacy, a fabulous legacy to pass on.
Love that. You choose. It's your choice. Right? Every single day you make the decision to either quit or go further or go on, but it's your choice. No, nothing is out of control. Everything, we are influenced by the world around us, but it doesn't control us and it doesn't make us who we are. So thank you for saying that. You choose, y'all. You make the choice. No one else. No one else is in control. This is your life to live. So thank you for saying that, sir. Sir, I have to ask a question. I have to beg the question. How did you get into speaking?
Right. So probably one of the most interesting stories for me personally is that I'm an introvert by nature. I like truly.
What?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So very, all psychometric testing, anything you get, ask my family, I caught very few friends. Day to day, I'm quite happy in my own company. But in 2004, I was in Los Angeles. I was at a coaches conference as a guest. And somebody asked me, how was it all going? And I said, well, it's early days, but I'm struggling to get business. And he said, he's a multimillionaire. He said to me, if you want to be successful in this business, get on stage. Now, back in 2004, really the only stage was a physical stage. So, there was no social feeds. Yes, we had the internet, but there wasn't any social media as such. So, and then so I came back to the UK, I started to do a few talks with maybe 12, 15 people, and got out of my own way. I started to enjoy doing those because it was one to many. So now I'm sharing my message to a larger group. Then the social media arrived and I was able to do one to many more. Then I created the YouTube channel. Then I got asked to and got paid to speak, and now I'm enjoying my public speaking. And then they put me on airplanes and fly me around the world to do speaking, and now I love it with a passion. So, but it was all from that one line in 2004. If you want to be successful in business, get on stage. And it, as a metaphor back then, well, it wasn't a metaphor, it was a physical thing. But nowadays, we're on a stage right now. So there are so many ways in business in which you can get on stage. So anybody that's in business, I'd encourage it. Positions you as an expert almost instantly. It's a fabulous tool to help with your communication skills. So it would definitely be in my list, high up my list. If you want to be successful in business, I'm passing it on. Get on stage.
Wow. That speaks paramount to me because I've been invited on a couple podcasts and other shows and an upcoming speaking event, and I've battled with it, right? I've battled, and there are people who are battling with whether or not they should get on the stage or not. And so you just said it, and that I need to take into consideration that it's a unique event, it's a unique opportunity, but it sounds like I shouldn't pass on those opportunities, those moments, because the struggle for me, and I think this is a struggle for a lot of business owners wanting to get started, is they're stuck to the 9-to-5 job. You have no regrets. You enjoy what you do. How do you transition from public speaking to working at 9-to-5 job? Because the job is secure, right? The job is safety. It's that safety net. How do I transition to a speaking platform and migrate there?
So the last 12, 18 months has given a lot of us an opportunity where we've had downtime to dabble or try different things and to maybe almost test our own self to see whether or not we'd be comfortable or capable of doing these things. So I think we've been given opportunities to test and try some of these things out for ourselves. I'm sure, I don't know, I honestly, I love your podcast, man. Your the production values and everything are amazing. But I'm confident if I went back and looked at your very first one, so it won't be anywhere near as slick and as amazing as it is right now. So, one of the things that you have to remember is whether you have 16 million people follow you on YouTube, every single YouTube account started off with one video and one subscriber. So everybody starts in the same place, and it's only those that are committed and driven to keeping going and enjoying that process that come through. So all I would say to people is, I'm real life evidence of somebody that is introvert by nature, but got out of my own way and now loves the opportunity to be able to share.
Powerful. Sir, what advice would any last nuggets? If you had one more nugget in the hat, What would you give to that entrepreneur on the fence, or that young boy or that young girl who wants to connect with you and learn more?
Oh dear. So set aside time every single week to learn something new, and do something that I did right at the start. Is if I knew that I needed to bring in more data to become a better person, so what I did is I took time out to learn how to absorb data quicker and more efficiently. So rather than just go to learn new things, I actually learned how to learn new things. I don't know if that makes sense. So speed reading, I read 3 business books at the same time, not one. Psychometrics, NLP. I studied communication, not to communicate out, but to bring in, so that I could, Bruce Lee, what do I take, what do I add, and what do I remove? So just stuff that I learned that helped me learn quicker. So it's a hack. So because otherwise, I'm slow. I was 44. I hadn't been to school for 30 years. So it's like I needed to refresh. So a good place to start, if you know that you need to take on new knowledge and new information. A business will only ever grow to the size of the incompetence of the business owner. So the more you're learning, the quicker and more efficient your business will become. And then just this last piece, which is something that Richard Branson taught me, which is all business is about risk, but you should only ever take a risk on something you can influence the outcome of. So it's no good taking a risk on something you have no control over. That's a bad risk. But business is risk anyway, but there are so many ways in which you can influence the outcome of what it is that you're doing. So accept that there's going to be risk, but influence that risk. So learn new things, take a risk, but only on things that you can influence.
He took us to church, y'all. He's taking us to church. Sir, you are a powerhouse speaker. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to give back on the Gentleman Style Podcast stage today, sir. How can we connect with you? How can we learn more?
So one of the great things, I look skyward, and because my mum would be so proud. If you put my name into Google, I'm on page 1 globally. So it's that easy. As long as you spell it right, you will find me on page 1. You're in the global top 100 business coaches to follow on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm on them all, but Google is your friend. Put my name into Google, you will find me. And Marcus has very kindly put my website up there for you too.
Check it out, y'all. That's Ian Dickson, and I put him in the comments as well. Connect, grow, learn, and connect with this powerhouse speaker so we can get to a better place in business. Sir, thank you for your time. I want to say this to you publicly. Never stop. Never give up. Never quit, because we need what you're doing. The world is changed by you and influenced by you and made better every single day.
Wonderful. I've really enjoyed it. It's just a fabulous opportunity. Just, brings the world together, and these technologies that perhaps we wouldn't have been using 15 months ago. So there's always something to thank difficult times for. So it's a good example. It's been lovely to talk to you today. Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, my audience, for joining us on the Gentleman Style Podcast stage. I hope this message has served you, and I hope it takes you to the next level, and I hope this helps. Like I always end every show, take care of your family, take care of your homes, and take care of business. This is Marcus Norman, your favorite Gentleman Style Podcast show, and Mr. Ian Dickson, public speaker, business coach, entrepreneur, and motivational powerhouse dynamic speaker. Signing off. We love you guys. Bye.